Both the Harris and Trump campaigns are gearing up to head back out on the campaign trail this week, making stops in those crucial swing states. NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez has more.
This morning, with just 71 days until the election, the presidential campaign is ramping up. Early voting starts next month in at least 6 states, and the Harris campaign is now announcing a bus tour this week to battleground Georgia, while the Trump campaign, fresh off an endorsement from third-party candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
I was surprised to discover that we are aligned on many key issues.
Is planning to head this week to critical swing states, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania.
We're going to defeat Comrade Kamala Harris, and we're going to win back our beautiful White House.
Harris's campaign and its allies say they've raised a record $540 million since President Biden dropped out a month ago. For its part, the Trump campaign says it raked in almost $139 million last month. Now, with the Democratic National Convention behind her, there is mounting pressure on Vice President Harris to hold a formal press conference or a major sit-down interview. While on Meet the Press, Trump's VP pick, Senator J.D. Vance, telling NBC's Kristen Welker his running mate would not impose a federal ban on abortion.
So he would veto a federal abortion ban?
I think he would. He said that explicitly, that he would.
And even as Trump casts doubts on election results.
Do you have faith the 2024 election will be free and fair?
I do, Kristen. I do think it's going to be free and fair, and we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that happens.
That was NBC's Gabe Gutierrez reporting, and joining us now, we have White House correspondent for Politico and co-author of The Playbook, Eugene Daniels, special correspondent at Vanity Fair and host of the Fast Politics podcast, Molly Jong-Fast, and author of 2 recent New York Times bestsellers, Evil Geniuses, The Unmaking of America, and Fantasyland, How America Went Haywire. Kurt Andersen. Kurt is with us as well. Thanks to you all for being with us for this hour. Eugene, you got new reporting this morning in The Playbook about how the Harris and Trump campaigns have hit an impasse over the rules of the upcoming debate. And with the Chicago convention behind us, all eyes are turning towards September 10th in Philadelphia, the highly anticipated showdown between Harris and Trump. But there are some snacks. Tell us more.
Yeah, you know, whether it's a speed bump or an impasse or a wall that they've hit, they're kind of stalled at this one issue, which is microphones, whether or not the microphones would be muted or unmuted, right? You can remember, for those who watched the CNN debate, that they had the mics muted during the other person speaking. That was something that the then Biden campaign really wanted. The Harris campaign doesn't want that. And so you have this really interesting dynamic where the Trump folks are actually the ones advocating for the rules as outlined by the Biden campaign, which would include the muted mics. When the Harris campaign, they want the mics unmuted. They believe that he will likely call her name or say something untoward, that he has, we've seen reporting behind closed doors of the things that he's saying to folks. I think they want that out there. They want the American people to see him do and say those things, right? It's really interesting. You know, I talked to both Jason Miller at the Trump campaign and Brian Fallon at the Harris campaign, and they're both blaming the other folks for this impasse. But at the end of the day, the negotiations with the Biden campaign no longer stand, right? The Harris folks, when they said that they would do this debate, it was always under the fact that negotiations on the smaller things, location, moderators, all of that, muted mic, would happen at some point. But the Trump folks are saying, we want CNN or bust. However, former President Trump himself, when he talked about this Fox News debate that's been proposed, he wants an audience, which is the exact opposite of what happened in the rules of the CNN debate.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting how the Biden team proposed the muted microphone, but ended up working to Trump's benefit because it kind of kept him quiet and it helped him be at least appearing to look disciplined there on air. So, Molly, let's get your take on this. You know, certainly Trump, you know, also posted on Truth Social last night, calling out ABC, accusing them of being biased. We know he's proposed other debates, including on Fox. The Harris campaign has said no to that. They said, look, we're going to have this one on September 1st, and then September 10th, and then we'll go from there. It also seems that there's some reluctance in Trump world for Trump to debate Harris. He has had trouble standing up to strong, smart women before. Also, she's a prosecutor. She's good at this. And at least for now, his efforts to attack her have been faltering. Witness comrade Kamala.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, John. And I think, look, you see here that tends to be that the candidate that's a little bit behind wants the debate, right? Think about in the Republican primary contest, Trump didn't debate anyone because he didn't want to elevate them, right? He didn't need it. So in this one, I think Trump is a little conflicted, right? Because he could use a debate to reset or at least his thinking is that he could use the debate to reset the campaign. But the problem, I think, for Trump is that we see all throughout Harris's career, she comes from the world of being a sex crimes prosecutor. So she has a lot of experience prosecuting. And I think also you'll remember that she was she was attorney general, she was a senator, and when she was a senator, she was famous for sort of nailing these members of the Trump administration, right, with questions, and she has been really quite good at that. So if you're Trump, you're very conflicted, right, because you want to reset the campaign and you think this could help you, but you also know that this is a very high stakes gamble. So I think we'll see. Look, she's very smart not to say yes to a Fox debate, because obviously Fox, has many problems and is, still. So I think that is not unusual. But for the debate that they've agreed, I think it's a win-win for her. But if he doesn't do it, I think that also works.
Yeah. So Kurt, we'll turn to your wild RFK Jr. story in just a moment, but let's first just get you in on this. I mean, to Molly's point, the incentive for Trump to do this debate is he's currently losing. I mean, it is very close, but he is down a little, and the trend lines are with Harris right now, so that'd be reason to try to change momentum. But also, I just have to think that if he were to duck this debate, he'd be called a coward by so many, and it just seems that that's something that Donald Trump just couldn't stand.
I couldn't agree with you more. It seems to me this is a series of negotiations about how to do it and how to do best. And if as Eugene said, if it's all about whether the mics are muted when the speaker isn't speaking, I can't imagine that would be a deal breaker. And no, and I agree with you. He is, I am tough, I am strong. I'm not going to let this woman show who's tougher. I can't imagine he would accept that. And even, of course, he would invent ways around that. Oh, they're whatever it is. ABC is fake news. I can't imagine that would go down with even, some of his possible voters.
Yeah, he'll make excuses, I would think, as to how he might do, but it's hard to imagine him not showing up that day.